Everybody was screaming, so it's definitely a great feeling to know he's coming back.
What have your teammates said about what he's kind of like in that D-line room when he's here?
They say he's real chill, and all I hear about is how hard he worked and how much work he put in every day. So that's like the big thing I always hear around here.
And it sounds like there's a chance he could actually play Sunday. Shanahan said he's hoping he might even fly in here for practice today. I mean, you excited just, the fact that he's not going to miss any time?
Yeah, that's very exciting. It just, changed the outlook on how they're going to have to prepare for us with him coming back.
How's it been your time here since you got how the team received you and getting ready for the season?
I mean, I've just been working and getting to know everybody, and it's just been fun, kind of just get close with everybody during this time.
And the pressure, not the pressure, because you come from a contender team to a contender team in the NFC. How is that looking up?
You just really put in work, and I'm gonna try to do my job the best I can, and let everything fall like they fall.
How did playing for Pittsburgh and for Mike Tomlin sort of lay the groundwork for where you are now?
I mean, I think that's how I learned about the league. He run a good program over there, so he just taught me a lot and just, got my mindset ready for how the NFL is.
Well, so just knowing what you know about the town, the coach, the way he coaches, what kind of game do you expect?
I mean, I know he motivating them like crazy, and I just laugh with my teammate like last week, Cam Hayward, just telling him because I know how he come in meetings, and I know that he gonna have them boys ready.
Thank you.
No problem.
Is there anything you can do in the next 2 days to really build chemistry with Nick as far as just working together and feeling each other's body language or whatever it might be?
I think it's just the snaps on the field. You learn each other by the reps you take, so it's just getting reps together is gonna build that.
Have you had much time to talk to him, like philosophy, pass rush, and just D-line at all?
Nah, I haven't yet, but I'm sure we will a lot now.
Now that you've seen his contract, do you want to restructure your
Nah, he deserved that, so I'm good.
What was the reaction when you all found out about that?
Well, I just heard screaming. I didn't know what they were screaming about running down the hall. But it's definitely a great feeling. I think everybody's excited to have him back.
Who'd you see running down the hall?
Fred. I assumed that's what he was yelling about, but he be yelling about being happy for practice too. So I ain't know. But everybody seemed very excited.
Yeah, we heard you were the screamer.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah.
How'd you find out?
I was getting my lunch, and Coach Wilkes walking down the hall. He grabs me, and he's like, "Bosa's here," and I was like, "Wow!" I couldn't believe it, but hey, he's here.
Have you gotten to the point where you thought you were going to play week one without him?
You got to prep as if he wasn't going to be here, hoping that he is going to be here, and he's here.
Brad, there was a lot of next man up talk on Monday about Bosa not being here. Is that a lot of BS?
I guess it doesn't matter now. He's here, so we ain't even got to talk about it.
Yeah. Fred, this team has such high expectations, and you could kind of click off all the position groups and you go covered. But when you got that last piece, what does it do for the kind of collective psyche of this team?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a good morale boost just to have one of our best players back on the team, players and leaders. I'm just ecstatic to have him back.
You went through this to a lesser extent in that you didn't take as long to get you here, but you went through the big contract renegotiation and for extension talk. And how does that change the way you feel and the way you play? You early in that year, you said it weighed on you a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's situation is different, but that's just part of the business side of it. Everybody thinks it's just all football, but then obviously when you get into that kind of portion of it, the business side kind of takes over. But now that he's done that part of it's done, he can put it behind him and just go out there and play free.
Fred, you guys as a team, you have a little older nucleus. You got some younger guys who are on the come. You and Nick are kind of right in the middle there, 25, 26. How important is it for you guys to kind of, knowing that you're going to be here for a while too, to make sure you're setting the standard so that those younger guys elevate and continue on this winning trend?
That's always been the mindset. For me, I'm always just kind of living in the present, not thinking too far ahead of what's to come, just taking things one day at a time, so it doesn't change much.
How does Nick make you realize he's your
I'm sure everybody knows how he makes everybody's life easier, not just me. You know, being one of the most dominant defensive players in the league. You know, in the run and pass game, just the most complete player on the edge. Clears a lot of things up for me.
And in that same sense, knowing that this was the best defense in football last season, why it's so important to have him back as a unit?
I mean, you just obviously want one of your best players on the team, regardless of, you know, last season's last season. It's time for this season. You know, it's a new year. And we start with a clean slate just like everybody else week 1.
I know you don't have the game plan, but how much do you expect him to play on Sunday?
No idea. Just happy he's back.
Fred, what sticks out about Pittsburgh's offense to you?
Here we go, Pittsburgh. Let's see. I mean, I think they have a really good team. I think people obviously aren't talking about them a whole lot just based off of how their season went last year. But to win 7 of their last 9 last year, it gives me a little bit of the feelings that we had back in 19. You know, when we started, nobody really was talking about us, but they have everything that you'd want. You know, a young quarterback who has a lot of confidence, some great playmakers on that side of the ball, and, you know, big physical offensive line. So it's going to be a huge test for us.
Were you in here?
I was going over to get my lunch just like 15 minutes ago, and then I heard about it. Word of mouth. It was crazy.
Are you next year?
We'll see.
I mean, were you watching this kind of like, obviously you want Nick here, but knowing that you might be going through something similar next season, and the kind of like just information?
Oh yeah, information. Yeah, information for sure. But for sure, glad to have him back, and we can play football now.
What kind of lift does this give you guys going into the first game?
I think just getting one of our guys. We got the squad. We got the full squad now, so we're ready to go.
Had this been kind of like a little bit of a cloud in your locker room, just wondering if this was going to happen?
I mean, we still come out here and do what we have to do every single day, and we're prepared to do what we have to do on Sunday. If it didn't get done, we know how it goes. But for sure, glad to have him back because we know how much of an impact he has on every game and to this team. So, like I said, we're glad to have him get paid and to be over the situation now.
How does he impact the offense today? Having a guy like that on defense, giving the ball back to you guys or whatever, you kind of think about how Nick Bosa back on the team can benefit you guys.
I think Nick Bosa being back on the team benefits everybody. I think that's why the deal got done, and that's why we're here right now talking about it. So, for sure.
Good seeing you. You too. You know, after the off season you had, the training camp you had, just how excited are you about playing games for real now?
Super excited. We had a great camp. We had a bunch of fun in camp. We're excited to play some real football. We had some fun in preseason games as well, so we're excited to go out here on Sunday and kick it off for real.
See, Debo got named the team captain. Your friend, first time. Do you think that's important to him? And what do you think that means?
No, for sure important to him. We talked about it last year. And I think it hurt him a little bit not being a captain, so excited for him to come back this year and be a captain.
He's always been a leader, right? I mean, even when he was a couple of years ago, did you feel that leadership?
For sure.
And then Brock to get team captain. Did you assume that was going to happen, or do you think that's...
I mean, yeah, he's our captain, he's our leader, he's the quarterback of this team, so yeah.
It's still special to get here.
Yeah, of course, anytime. It's a sign of appreciation from your teammates, so that never gets old.
Trent, you had to deal with your own contract negotiations a couple of years with these guys. So when Bosa was going through this, did you have faith that it was going to get done, or was it any?
No, I never once questioned whether it would get done. You know, I ain't gonna lie. You know, being that we got here today with no news, started to get worried about if it would be done enough, done in enough time for him to play this weekend. But, obviously we got that taken care of, so I'm super excited.
Were you in the locker room when you found out?
I was.
Yeah. Who was the first person to announce it in here?
Well, P showed me as soon as Adam dropped the tweet. So, yeah, I'm so happy for him. Well, it was only 3 or 4 people in here at the time, but yeah, we were all pretty animated and excited to see our boy get paid like he should.
Was he sort of hanging over in the locker room a little bit?
Yeah, I'll be lying to say it wasn't, because he's such a huge contributor to what we do as a defense and how we play. So, it's not like anybody else going down. Defensive Player of the Year, you miss people like that. You know, I know it's the next man up league, but you know, a lot of that go out the window when you're talking about a player like that.
How else are you preparing game plan wise to maybe not have Nick? Is that the move in the long term?
I don't know, because you know I don't do the game plans for defense. You know, I would think that as a coach you prepare for the worst and expect the best. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that started out during the week, but luckily they don't got to worry about that anymore.
Did you miss getting to rep against him a little bit in training camp? I know you guys like to pick each other's brain a little bit.
Yeah, I miss that part of it. I don't miss blocking him not one bit. You know, so I do miss the being able to pick each other's brain and just having him here. You know, him being in my corner, me being in his corner. You know, definitely miss him. He's as laid back and as monotone as he seems. He's a big part of this locker room, and a lot of people really follow him. And you know, we learn a lot from him as far as like how to treat your body, as far as like the dedication to eating right, sleeping right. You know, so he's one of those guys that you really need in the locker room.
This is such a strong team at every position group. Does that give you just one more little kind of kick for the start of the season, knowing that you're at full strength now as you open the season?
Yeah, I think Bosa is much more than just a little kick. He's like kicking out the back of the end zone type of kick. So, I mean, having him back we're all elated for that. I mean, couldn't be happier.
Trent, you talk about what it means when you see the ownership paying this kind of money to keep this very talented roster together. It took a little while this time, but I guess does this reinforce your feelings about ownership and the financial kind of commitment it's making? Yeah,
I think we all knew that. We all knew that the York family has always been, you know, the ownership group that will put their checkbook where their mouth is. They will, you know, they don't not scared to step out on the limb and make a guy the highest paid in history, or you know, they do that, especially for the players, you know, that it's worth it. I think Nick is obviously worth it. I think anybody in the NFL would have paid him anything he wanted, you know. So obviously it's a bigger contract, takes a little bit more negotiating, so it took a little longer, but I mean, the goal is the goal. We got him signed, you know, he'll be back in the locker room. The team can't wait to welcome him with open arms. Arms might have to be a little wider because he got bigger pockets now, but you know, we definitely gonna welcome him back with open arms.
You mentioned how the way he takes care of himself, guys kind of learn from that. He's only 25. I mean, is there still upside with the defensive player of the year? Like, can he still get better?
Yeah. I mean, you ask him, I guarantee you he probably would say that what he did last year wasn't enough. I guarantee you he'd say he left a few sacks out there on the field, and I guarantee you his main focus is to take everything off the plate and not leave a crumb. And, you know, for us, we see what he do, and obviously he's Defensive Player of the Year, so it's not much to nitpick about. But Nick being the guy he is and being how he got this good is not because he rests on his laurels, because he's always his worst critic, and he continues to care about getting better. And you know, being that he's 25 only makes it scarier for guys.
He's not only our teammate, he's our friend. So seeing him get his just due, man, it feels great for the locker room and great for the D-line for sure.
When you go down the position groups on this team, it seems like everyone is kind of check mark. You have those things all covered. So what does that feel like as you approach this season now with such high expectations and knowing that you have kind of all the tools necessary?
That's just what it is, those expectations. We got to go out there and do it. You know, on paper, obviously, we're a great team. We put it out there, but it doesn't mean anything until we get out there and make it happen. Last year, the year before that, we start our journey now. And the goal is just to be 1-0.
The move here Monday was kind of like, well, you know, if he's not here, he's not here. You know, we still got to play.
Yeah.
I mean, when you realize he's going to be here, he's going to play, is it like just a relief, like, okay, we can stop this charade of, like, this is not a big deal?
Well, we coach our guys kind of the same. You know, obviously, when Bosa's out there, it definitely gives us an extra edge. But as a group, we are confident, everyone in the group, that we can go out there and win the game. When you add a player like Bosa, like for everyone involved, the confidence goes up, you know.
You mentioned that kind of you've accomplished nothing until you get out there on the field. Is that a sign of a more mature team that understands that? You know, you can't just show up on Sunday. You have to show up every single time, no matter who the opponent is.
Exactly. Like, you don't want to let one get away and worry about it on the back end. You know, you want to take everyone, respect every team that you play, and you want to, in the NFL, there's no bad teams.
Kerry, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Well, in terms of facing the Steelers specifically with Kenny Pickett, what do you guys expect to see out of him? Like, is he a quick passer?
No, he's coming a long way. He's playing really well, and he's a mobile guy. He can make all the throws. He's a high draft pick for a reason, and he's showing it. So the defense, we're going to have to corral him. We're going to have to make it tough on him. And that seems like that every week now in this league with quarterbacks.
And the other thing, going into a traditionally hostile stadium on opening day, they're going to be pretty jacked up. So that's another element that comes into play as well, isn't it, at this point in the season?
Yeah, definitely a historic place, historic team, and going out there, you kind of feel the vibe. Pittsburgh reminds me of like your Lambos and those type of fields and stuff. So as a group, we're just excited, man. Your first game on the road, and there's a lot of focus on the road. So I'm kind of happy that we're opening on the road. It's a lot of stuff to go on week one, so it's good that we can get away and focus on game one.
Between those two guys?
Yeah, they're both explosive. They play hard. I know the one thing you see is, he's never quitting on plays is a big thing. He's continuing through reps, and he's got a lot of tools in his back pocket. So the key to him is getting your hands on him and making sure he doesn't turn the edge of that pocket. So a lot like Nick, he plays physical, plays hard, and hopefully we'll get a few reps.
Since they're technically in a 3-4, is it a different angle that he's coming at you than a regular end?
Sometimes it's stand up and sometimes he's sitting down or in a 3-point. So, it changes the angle a little bit. It looks like he's more angled towards you, but he has a lot of good upfield, first couple steps. So the angle may look different, but, he's covering a lot of ground quick.
As we look at the offensive line, last year at this time, there were some question marks on the interior. You're stepping into a really important spot this year. What is your kind of approach as you approach this season with such high expectations for this team?
Like I was a starter. I think that's the biggest thing that, Furs told me, and, to come in, with the mentality with the confidence that you are the starter now. I think that's the biggest thing that, in the past 3 years, it's always been a swing guy. And now it's just the mentality of, it's your spot. I think that's the biggest thing for me is having that confidence going out there and knowing that, I am the guy and then I can play with these guys.
Were you told that before the schedule came out? I'm just curious because and then you saw the schedule came out and said, wow, is TJ Watt, is that a good way to start?
Oh yeah, it's a great way to start.
Let's go right at it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, having joints down with the Raiders, seeing Max and getting work with him was really helpful. And then I've had this one circled. It's going to be a homecoming for me, so I'm excited to go against the best that they got to offer. So it'll be good.
Playing every snap at one spot as opposed to past summers, what does that enable you?
A lot more consistency, that's for sure. It hasn't been a day at guard, day at tackle, or a day at right and left. So been able to be consistent on stance and how the sets look and run game, and then building chemistry with Spence as well. Not playing with different guys every day. So it's been a lot better just staying at one position for sure.
How do you feel now? Nerves, anxiety versus all those years ago?
It is a little bit slower, right? Obviously, everyone keeps getting faster, stronger, and all that stuff, but the game itself gets slower the more years you're in the league. So really it just comes down to what you focus on and what you don't have to focus on, just because you have some of that muscle memory already in your bank.
This is a team that if you go down all the key position mark, especially in groups, you kind of go check mark, check mark, check mark. You got a big one today, a guy that you guys are planning on. What does that do for the kind of mentality of the team as you approach this season, knowing that you guys are at full strength?
Oh, it's great. Arguably the best defensive player in the league, if you ask me, 100%. Having him on your side versus the other is always great. I'm just eager to have him in the building, and he'll get back to being the same guy he was last season. So.
And you didn't have to be across the line of scrimmage from him during training camp this year, so that's maybe not the worst thing.
Not the worst thing, but also, you miss valuable reps, right? So, being able to go against a high caliber player like that, it's actually beneficial as much as it is hard to do.
You're someone also who we didn't didn't know that much about you as a veteran player last year. You kind of came in and firmly established yourself, and now you are in a completely different position than you were maybe last year at this time. What's that feel like for you?
That's good, right? I feel like I have a little bit more ownership on where the team's going and kind of what, like especially the offensive side of the ball and what we have to do this year. Honestly, I'm just eager to get things going.
Hey, faithful, click here to subscribe.